The reason why I'm a coach is because I want to see people actually get the results that they're looking for to actually change their life. There's a lot of people that are struggling. People make business more complicated than it is. And this is something that I think you would want your audience to know is that
life is a journey, yours starts here. If you're feeling lost, then have no fear. There's always a seat at the tavern, as the legend goes, where the fire's warm and the ale flows cold. You can share your story, whether you're young or old. Tell tales of your glories or sorrows. If things are going great or you're down on your luck, spent too much of the same and you're feeling stuck, share what you know on Gamers Growing Up. GGUP. GGUP. GGUP.
Welcome back to GGUP, the show where we hang out with our guests in a video game of their choosing and discuss their unique journey tackling the main quests of life, finding purpose, building success, and spreading love. This week, we're joined by my new friend, Mindful Brian. Brian, welcome to the show.
thanks for having me, man.
For sure, appreciate you being on. And Brian, we connected because the algorithm served me your content on Instagram, and I found it to be very relevant to working through many of the problems young people are struggling with these days. Could you please introduce yourself to us a little bit? Where you're from, how old you are, and tell us a little bit about what the work you do is all about.
Sure, man. I'm Brian. I'm from Michigan. I'm 33 years old, and I am a life coach, to put it simply. But specifically, I help people find purpose and meaning in life. A lot of people in our generation tend to be lost, not even just our generation, but just people in general. But yeah, we can definitely get deeper into specifically what I do.
Awesome. And yeah, this whole pursuit of purpose is in total alignment with the show. That's why I thought it would be wonderful for us to collaborate, because I think we can have some really meaningful conversations and hopefully help a lot of people. So, the game that you have chosen for gamers growing up is V Rising. And I was really excited about that because it's one of my favorite games. I have 100%ed it. And I wanted to give you the opportunity to say, is it meaningful to you? What fun experiences have you had in the game? Anything you want to tell us? What's your relationship with V Rising?
I do think the castle building and the vampire stuff is pretty cool, but it's just like a game that I thought would work really good for your format.
Awesome, man. Yeah, we'll get to hang out inside of the castles that I've been building. And now for the first kind of serious question of the show. In your life at this moment, what's the most important thing to you right now?
The most important thing to me right now is my own personal health in all aspects. So that's like mental, physical, social. I have pillars of life that I do for my clients, and I also do that for myself. So it's just like making sure every aspect of my life is going well. But I would say one of my most important things right now is my business, right? It took me my whole life to find this specific thing, which is coaching, what I do now. And I've worked dozens of different types of jobs, and it's all led me to here. Like every life experience has led me to this point. And so I'm extremely passionate about what I do. I help a lot of people out. And yeah, I just couldn't be more happy and fulfilled in life because of the things that I choose to do and live with.
That is so wonderful to hear. I think that prioritizing your health and well being is something that everyone should have at the top of their list. And I'm very excited to dive into what it's like sculpting your own career, and especially one that you find extremely fulfilling. So, Brian, let's hear a little bit more about what you're doing right now. You said you're working as a life coach, you're your own boss, it's entrepreneurial work. How did you get into this, and what's it like?
Yeah. So being a business owner is pretty straightforward. It's just something that you just choose to do and you start it just like what you're doing with your podcast here. And yeah, ultimately it's like I make a decision, I want to be a business owner, and then you just like figure out where the path leads as you go towards it, just like everything in life, right?
And can you tell us a little bit of the day to day and the week to week? What are the actual things that you're doing and how are you monetizing them?
So basically, what I do is I'm on Instagram. That's basically where my funnel starts. And what a funnel is like where you bring leads in. And what leads is just people that are potentially going to hire you to pay you money to do the thing that you do, right? So every company, every business needs some sort of leads, especially if you're service based. For coaching specifically, I run ads on Instagram, and then through ads, I hop in the DMs, I have conversations and see if people need help with their situation. If they do, then we get on a call. I saw them on the call and they book me, and then we work together as coach and client. It's like the most simple way to explain it. It's not really that complicated, and people make business more complicated than it is. And this is something that I think you would want your audience to know, is that it's really not that hard. All you need to know are the right steps in order to make anything in life work. And a lot of the times, paying to learn someone's systems and processes so that you know exactly what needs to happen, especially someone that is successful in what they do. Like, I currently have my own coach, like a business marketing coach for coaching specifically, because I've ran other businesses before, but ultimately it's a new type of business that I haven't run before, and I don't want to spend years figuring it out. And so within the first couple months, like, I immediately started being profitable. So it's ultimately the life hack for earning money, doing something that you love, is paying someone to learn their systems and processes so that you can take what they've tried to figure out for 10, 15, 20 years and then implement them in your own way and like customizing to like whatever your specific offer is.
Why spin your wheels working through processes that others have already mapped out and that you can pay to gain access to, as well as finding a mentor within your field? How did you go about finding a mentor?
I was on Instagram and I was open minded to doing something different. I didn't actually originally know what I wanted to do. Like, I started this page as a mental health page and I was just posting content just to help people. And then I was like, this isn't enough. Like, I'm not doing enough for these people. Posting content, it doesn't fulfill me in the way that I wanted it to, because I wasn't working with people. Right. And so I was like, how can I actually start working with people? And then the algorithm started serving me people that worked with coaches to build their coaching business up. And I was like, okay, I already know what I want to do to help people. So now all I need to do is just implement the systems and processes behind the actual business itself. Now I know the sales and the marketing funnel that goes behind like what I need to do in order to actually get clients.
The work that you're doing, it seems like a lifeline to people who are going through crisis or anybody who just wants to see some positive change, some improvement in their life. Who would you say are clients and people that might want to look into working with you?
Yeah, a lot of people, man. There's a lot of people that are struggling. But ultimately, if you're happy with your life and there's not anything critical that you feel like you're struggling with, and you're regularly happy and fulfilled, I don't think you need a coach. But here's the thing. If you feel like you're stuck, like you don't have the answers, like you're trying to find something, like a piece of your life is missing, or you're extremely unhappy, or you're depressed, or you're taking like anxiety medication, like all of these things are not part of who you are. You just need to resolve what the issue is behind that, pull out the root problem, and then you will be fine. But ultimately, it comes down to learning about yourself, finding out what your purpose is, and like what you actually want out of life. That's how you become fulfilled and happy.
My understanding that's your approach is to get really granular, sit down with people and try and unpack where this unhappiness or lack of progress is coming from in their lives. When
Yeah.
somebody comes to you for life coaching, is that a short-term relationship, a couple weeks, or
Yeah,
is it
yeah, yeah.
something that you're there for them for years?
My program is just one-on-one. It's super simple. It's not complicated. I meet with them once a week for 4 months, and by then we usually change their lives. Coaches are results oriented, and that's why I'm against therapy, is because therapy, there is no destination. But if you want to get the most out of therapy, talk to the therapist and be like, I'm looking for advice. I'm looking to change my life. I want actionable goals every single time I get out of session. And I want you to tell me what you think would be best, but also allow me enough space to help me think and ask the questions to help me like unravel what I need to figure out. So I want to be guided, not told what to do, but I also want to have you give me a roadmap so I know where to actually go and how to solve these things. And you want to be specific about what you want to solve. And that's basically what I do. So we meet for an hour, and how I set up the sessions is we talk about what you did previously, right? What you want to address today, and then what you want to address in the future. And I'll give them tasks to do at the end of the day or at the end of the session. The reason why I'm a coach is because I want to see people actually get the results that they're looking for, to actually change their life. And the action is what creates the change. And that's something that I continue to preach. That's like my thing. That's what I say. Action creates change. And that's the only thing that creates change. Nothing else can create the change. So only through that can you actually get where you want to go.
And I want to thank you for being so adamant and open with your views. I do want to provide the counter side of it just from my own experience. I know that in the hills and valleys of life, one of my deepest valleys, I ended up going to therapy and got a lot of value out of it, but it was only for a couple months. And I think that everybody is going to have their own journey, their own things that work for them. And the whole point of this show is to expose you to as many different perspectives and potential things that you can implement in your life. So that's why we're having this conversation, to give the other side of that viewpoint. For those that therapy isn't working, perhaps enlisting a life coach might be the right solution.
So I do want to chime in really quick, and I want to caveat what I'm saying, because like I know I generalize therapy. I will say there's two things that therapy generally can help you with. Every therapist is different. Every therapist's capability is different. But the two things that they generally help with is helping you understand your emotions and also uncovering where emotional traumas come from. So I agree. Therapy can be helpful, especially if you've not started your journey yet. You don't know anything about emotions. You don't have any coping mechanisms. Therapy is a great starting point for anyone that isn't aware of any of that stuff. But if you already are like understanding where things come from and you have an idea of what you're actually struggling with, and you've already thought through a lot of that stuff, and you're aware of emotions and you know how to handle emotions and you know a little bit more about that stuff, then therapy is usually the law of diminishing returns.
Talking about your own experience since you've started working as a life coach, what are some moments that you're really proud of, and where are some times that you struggled?
Business in general is not easy, but it is simple. It's hard, but it's simple. Business is extremely emotional because it's something that you're doing for yourself. So you do have an emotional attachment to it. And so the highs are really high and the lows are really low. There's nothing more important than going into business with a really strong purpose and understanding of like why you want to do what you want to do. Because if your motivation to do whatever said business is not good enough, you will not survive. Money can be secondary, but money cannot be the most important thing for you to do what you want to do, because that's not going to carry you through the hard times. Like money is never going to carry you through the hardest of times. It's like if you're in a marriage with someone, right? And if you don't have love, then like you're not going to be able to handle anything. You're going to call it quits immediately, right? Or you're in a relationship. So yeah, I would say like your purpose is your love, right? And that is what drives you to continue to keep moving forward. And so that I would say is like one of the hardest things for sure when it comes to just business in general, but that in itself is really hard. Things that I'm super proud of is seeing my clients' faces like completely just when they come to a realization, their eyes get wide and like their body language changes and their expression just gets super excited. They're like, holy shit, that makes total sense. I can't believe I was doing that my whole life. Like this thing that I've been doing is tied to this, and this is why I act this way. I can't believe it. It's so simple, right? And then they come to that realization. And then another thing that I'm really proud of that I love seeing in my business is after I finish working with someone and I check in with them months later and I'm like, hey, how are things going? You've gained all the skills that you need to tackle anything that you want in life, right? Or to deal with anything that you need to deal with in life, right? And they're like, yeah, the way that I see things is different. The way that I approach the world is different. I'm just much happier. I'm at peace. When I hear those words, I'm at peace, is the craziest thing to hear, because like they come to you in utter chaos, right? They are anxious. They're people pleasing. They can't say no to anyone. They're not pursuing the things that they care about. They don't have any friends. They're overworking themselves to get no money. They're spending it on the wrong things. They're traveling too much, but it's all running away. They're drinking too much, whatever the issue is, right? Like it could be any amount of different things that cause people to spiral out. But then after when I work with them and they're like, I feel good and I'm at peace. Like that's the ultimate win for someone.
Yeah. What better thing could you take out of work than helping people find peace and to pursue and find purpose and fulfillment in their lives? That's really wonderful. And can you tell us a little bit about how you knew it was time to go and work for yourself? You said that you've launched businesses in the past. Just that specific, when was that shift? Did you work for other people before, or have you always worked for yourself?
Oh man, no. I didn't even know that business was an option. I thought that was only for rich people until I was about 24, 25. So I think it was 2016. I didn't know about business until I ran away. I lived in New Zealand for a year. And one of the people that I was working with, she sent me a podcast that was called the MFCEO Project. And the host was Andy Frisella. And he specifically spoke about business and how to build a business and that it's real for you to be a business owner if you want to. And then so that kind of started seeping into my mind a little bit. I was like, wait, I can do this? This is like an option for me. Because originally I thought like I had no idea what I would want to do. I just knew that everything I did I hated. And I also hate
Yeah.
listening to people tell me what to do. Like I've always hated teachers and authority figures telling me what to do. Don't do this, do that, whatever. I've always hated that my whole life. So, like, naturally, I was just falling into the I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to start my own thing. But I didn't even know that was an option. But once I was aware of that as an option, I knew there was no other choice for me. Like, I can't listen to people tell me what to do. I don't want to build anything for anyone else. I want to build something for myself. And so that's where I found meaning personally. Everyone on social media is like, hustle, grind, build something for yourself. And I think everyone should try it. Do I think it's for everyone? No. You definitely have to be a type of person to want and be successful at something like this because it's not for the faint of heart. Because going to your job, making like six figures and then coming back home and dropping everything, that's easy, dude. You just go to work and you come home. You don't have to think about anything else. You compartmentalize and you're just like, I'm going to do whatever I want the rest of the day and focus on the rest of my life. That's great. When you're in business, you're constantly thinking about your business. Not saying that you can't also compartmentalize and separate it, but that takes a lot of skill and practice to be able to do that.
So I want to ask you specifically a broad question without diving too deep into the specifics. But as someone who is owning a business online, how do you manage a sense of job security? Do you feel like you're being fairly compensated from it? Is it steady or does it have big highs and lows? And then how are you navigating that work life balance? Like you said, trying to compartmentalize can be really hard. Like any tips or tricks or things that you've learned in that process? Like, what is it like to own a business online where you work for yourself?
Yeah, business in general, it's never going to be steady, but I will say that it's as steady as you want to make it. The amount of effort you put in is how much you get out. There is no cap for how much you can make as long as you're smart, right? The more effort you put in highly impactful actions within a business that give you high ROI, like return on investment. So whether that's time or resources or money or whatever, like if you focus on all the tasks that are actually important and you focus on the fundamentals and the foundation of what business is, which is basically like run ads, get leads, make sales, make money. That's it. It's not more than that. It's literally that's it. Products are a little bit different, but it's advertise, sell products, make money. It's even simpler, right? But yeah, it's inconsistent. But again, like it's only inconsistent if the amount of effort you put in is inconsistent. A lot of people aren't built to control their own time because we have been bred since we were children to listen to what other people say. So choosing our own days and choosing what we want to do daily is extremely hard for a lot of people. Like completely deciding your own day in life. It gets easier as you practice though. So definitely a skill that you can do.
How much of each day do you spend working?
As much as I want. Some days I can work 5 to 8 hours. Some days I work 2. Some days I literally don't work. I took a trip across Canada and the north side of America, and I was gone for 2.5 weeks and I barely did any work. I took my client calls and that's it. I did not put any time into social media. I didn't put time into running ads. I didn't put time into making content. I just drove around the country and hiked and met people and hung out and ate food and spent money. So yeah, you could literally just not do anything for a month if you wanted. It's completely up to you.
The great flexibility and freedom that comes with the responsibility of making sure that you're keeping things alive. Everything ultimately comes down to you. Any last thoughts that you want to share about being a life coach in general before we move on to hearing about how you got there?
I think the biggest thing, anything that you want to do in life, just start. So when I went to New Zealand, I had this idea and I planned as much as I possibly could, right? Because I wanted to live there for a year on a working holiday visa. And I got all of these resources and materials. Like I got a tent and I got this, I got that, and I got like wool clothing for hikes and stuff like that. And then when I got there, like for some reason in my head, I was like, this is the bush, right? And I got there and there's cities everywhere and I prepared the best I could, but the things that I bought were completely unnecessary for what I was doing. It was just like a normal place in the world. You can plan all you want. You can make predictions about a place all you want, or like what you're going to do, or this translates into every aspect of life. But the main thing is just once you get there and once you get started, that's when the journey actually begins. Like, you can always put things off more and more, but if you continue to put things off, you're never going to start. And so, again, like the biggest thing is just starting, and then you learn as you go. When you're doing business, when you're doing coaching, when you're doing whatever related to entrepreneurship, it's not about the preparation. It is literally just about starting because everything that you need to learn, you'll learn along the way, or you'll pay someone to help you with it. I'm just curious about what your thoughts are when it comes to what I said about starting, just getting started over everything else.
Yeah, I definitely am someone who I like to gather a lot of information and try and give things their best go. I think that figuring things out as you go is very useful. I agree with you on that. But I think that it should be balanced and tempered by preparation in the same sense that you wouldn't launch a trip to any part of the world without having an idea of what you want to do, a budget for how much you could afford to spend within the trip. These like essential things that you figure out. And then when you're getting involved in something more that you're trying to build into something that continues to grow, I think there's also a level of optimizing for that best path. I'm a min-maxer when it comes to video games. I'm the guy who goes and figures out the right build. We're playing D&D. I'm trying to get as much damage as possible. Sure, I'm level 5, but I'm hitting like I'm level 10. I think that there is definitely tangible results to the right preparation. So it's just a different philosophy. I don't think that there's a right or a wrong. It's just when you want to tackle certain problems, for sure, you jump right into something and then you immediately know everything you need to figure out. But if you take more time to prep, then there's less things that are popping up. It's a balance. If you haven't drank any water recently, here's your hydration reminder because it's sponsor time. Hey, do you notice how nice and crisp those captions look? That's all thanks to Descript. This show wouldn't be possible without the epic editing tools provided by Descript. When I was starting out making the podcast, I searched far and wide for editing software that would let me separate my captions from those of my guests, and Descript was the only software I could find that allowed me to bring my vision to life. Now, they're not a sponsor of this channel yet, but I'd like your help to change that. I really cannot recommend Descript enough as a video editing tool. Their direct text editing, AI filler word remover, and top tier captions are just a dream to work with. If you want to see this podcast grow, let our friends at Descript know down in the comments that they should sponsor this show. Thank you, Descript, for the great video editing tools. Are you enjoying the show? Do you want to let your friends know that this is your new favorite podcast? You should head on over to the official GGUP merch store and get that legendary loot. Get dripped out, stylish shirts, hats, and even stickers. There are over 100 designs created by yours truly, and you can get them all on all kinds of things. Click the link in the description to check out the merch store today. Now back to the episode. What has brought you to where you're at, and how did Mindful Brian come to be? Did you go to college? What types of jobs did you work? And what was this journey for you like?
After high school, I went to college, food delivery, construction.
What did you study in college?
I studied general education because I was going to go towards med school or nursing, something in the medical field. But ultimately, I hated it, so I decided to not go down that path. I was wiping asses at a nursing home until I was 23, 24. And then that's when I took my trip to New Zealand because I was just like, I hate my fucking life. What do I need to do? I need to leave this place to find myself. And so that's what I thought I needed. But I was ultimately just running away, went to New Zealand. I worked dozens of other jobs from like recycling plant, catering to Lord of the Rings touring company dispatcher to, oh my God, I'm on fire. Wait, what?
I think you caught the sunrise light beam.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I also did like moving warehouse stuff and like setting up for different things. And again, I did construction, but yeah, just tons of odd ends and different temp jobs. And then that's when I started like making YouTube videos, getting into like business. And then I came back to the US. I worked at a rock climbing gym as a instructor for a little bit, and then I started my business, my first business, which was media and marketing. I shot videos for, it was more of a videography company. I worked for like companies shooting promo videos and stuff, and then I did a little bit of marketing on the side, wedding videos and stuff. Good money, but it wasn't fulfilling. And then ultimately fell into a deep ass depression because I thought that's something that I loved. I thought it's something that I cared about. And then I realized that it wasn't for me because I was in front of a computer all day and I just love people so much. Like my favorite part was being at the wedding and like hanging out with people while shooting the video. That was my favorite part of shooting videos, was always talking to the clients. And
Mhm.
so I fell into a deep depression because like I had a bunch of shit happen, toxic relationship breakup, and then my second company was an events company. It utterly failed, was absolutely horrid. Through the depression, I took a couple more trips, went to Arizona, learned about myself, cried, screamed at a mountain, and then gained back my understanding of myself, self-exploration, trying therapy. I built a mindfulness page after I did that trip, and then that culminated into Mindful Brian, the business now.
I like to ask about your journey because the whole point of this show is to provide a lot of value for somebody who's just getting out of high school and trying to figure out what they want to do. If they want to be going into college, if they want to jump right into a career. Part of that conversation that I want to have is how you evolved your mindset. So if you think back to when you were in that same phase of life, you're leaving high school and you're heading into college thinking about maybe going to med school or something, that version of Brian, what are some milestones throughout your life that have brought you to the adult professional perspective that you have now? How does one go about evolving their mindset, and what did that look like for you?
Insurmountable amounts of pain. Every time I've ever grown has just
No
been from
sugarcoating it, huh?
pain. One of my biggest growth periods was when I was in my depression. I was eating super unhealthy. I was like trying to run occasionally. I was playing video games literally 24/7. I wasn't thinking about my life at all. Zero. So I just hated everything. And it was a really dark time in my life, man. Did a lot of things that I'm definitely not proud of. But yeah, I think for me, the mindset shift was always through pain, was from self-reflection and just like, truly going through hard times. And I would say that's not necessary.
Yeah, but for someone who maybe is going through a hard time right now, if you could share, what questions were you asking yourself? What are the things that you did to turn this horrible thing, this pain in your life, into something useful, into growth?
So the main things, it sounds really dumb, but how I personally got out of depression was by rewiring my brain. Most people are very negative about everything that they say, and I was very terrible. I'm in my late 20s. What the fuck am I doing with my life? Like, why have I not gotten to where I want to be? I'm such a piece of shit loser. No one's going to love me. Those are the things that I continue to tell myself in my head when I was depressed. I'm useless.
Mhm.
I'm worthless. And so I would get out of bed and I'd say, I'm proud of you for getting out of bed. I'd brush my teeth and I'd say, I'm proud of you for brushing your teeth. Like I would say this to myself, Brian, I'm proud of you for brushing your teeth. I go outside, I step on the grass. I'm proud of you for going onto the grass. And these small incremental like compliments and positive self-talk is what slowly changed the way that I speak to myself. And so I've become nicer. Every time you do something and you like give yourself positive reinforcement, you're building more momentum on that. So that was a huge thing for me.
I think that's really true and really useful. I know that I personally had to go through a process of having to rebuild the way I talk to myself. I think a lot of the people I grew up with, we all had this very self deprecation culture where you tear yourself down, you tear your friends down. You don't feel like you mean it, but at some level you do. And I think there's a lot of value in that. But I still want to hear more about turning pain useful. Like hard times that you were going through, did you have anything besides this better self-talk where you figured out how to make
Yeah.
bad things useful to you?
Yeah. Honestly, some of the best things that I did was just self-reflection. That I would say if I was to give anyone advice on what to do is just self-reflection. You have to think about you. You have to think about what you want. You have to get super fucking selfish in like just focusing so much energy on thinking about the things that you want, thinking about your behaviors, your habits, your beliefs. You need to audit every single aspect of your life. What I realized is like I was there because I chose the life that I was there for. So the number one thing to do if you're feeling terrible in any aspect of life is taking complete aggressive accountability over where you are right now. If you're sad, you chose that life. If you're upset, you chose that life. If you're happy, you chose that life. Every single action we take is completely up to us. Are there things that sometimes we can't control, like maybe like a family member dying or something like that? Yeah, like we can't control that. But literally every single day, we're constantly choosing everything. Even if you don't choose something, you're still choosing something. So recognizing that gives you complete control and power over everything in life. And then if you self reflect and you truly understand, like, what do I want? What do I need to work through? What is causing me this pain and frustration and holding me back? What are my mental blocks here? Right? You work through all that and you'll come out on the other side so much happier, so much more disciplined, so much more motivated, and so much more excited about life. So that's what I would say, like, for working through pain. And that's a really good way to use that pain as momentum.
What I'm hearing is trying to analyze and question all of the things that have gotten you to where you are, breaking it down into the components and trying to figure out where you have agency to make changes. What does that process look like? Did you journal? Is it something that you talk to another person about? Is it just shower thoughts? If somebody's like, I need to get started, what do I do?
Yeah, for sure, man. Journaling and meditation are definitely two of the best things. Mindfulness and being present is also really good. But again, like I can't emphasize how important the positive self talk is because if you can start reframing your mind to be more positive to yourself, the way that you view everything in the world is going to be much more positive in general.
How do you make this goal of self-reflecting and breaking down where you
Yeah.
have agency actionable?
Yeah. So, like, when you journal, don't journal for a specific reason. Just allow your brain to go stream of thought. So, here's what I tell my clients, and here's what I'll tell you, right? If you have trauma in the past, like, our mind is like a gunked up tube, okay? It's like a pipe that's gunked up, right? And so, you have to clear out the gunk to let the fresh water run through the pipe, right? And so, the first thing that you need to work through is all your childhood traumas, like, really assess and understand. So, how you actually do that, I'm going to try to be as quick in summary as how to actually do this, is you think about the situation. First, you figure out what is my trigger right now? What's causing me this emotion or this frustration or this anxiety? Like, where does it come from? And then you continue to ask yourself why. And then you'll start to recognize, oh, this is coming from something from the past, right? Because every behavior that we've created is based on something that we've had happen to us in our history that we've created a narrative around so that we choose to live that way now. So basically, the reason why we are where we are now is because we're children still mentally. And so after you understand that, you go back, you think, okay, the reason why I feel anxious is because this situation happened. And okay, in that moment, what did I feel? I felt this overwhelming sense of pain because my parents didn't love me. And then you isolate that as like a childhood thought and emotion. Then what you do is you come in as an adult with your adult brain now, and then you look at the entire situation, analyzing it logically without any emotion, right? And you think of it as an adult, not feeling what you felt when you were a kid, but looking as an adult, right? So you analyze the situation. What do my parents actually want? They wanted the best for me, obviously. Like they just didn't know how to show it to me in a way that I could understand. And then after you analyze through that and you're like, okay, what was their intention? What did I actually create in my own head that wasn't true? Because what we believe to be true when we're younger is wrong. It's something that we've created. And so that pain instantly goes away when you know why you felt that way. You never have to deal with it again. So work through the trauma, work through the pain. Then what you do is you fill it with new things, self-exploration, self-understanding, figure out what you actually want to do. Think about what your dream life is going to be, and then reverse engineer that to build your life out. And journaling helps you get into your subconscious rather than in your conscious mind. So whatever you need to work through, the most aggressive things that need to be handled immediately are going to come up to the surface sooner. So when you meditate and you journal and you think about this stuff and you allow your brain to go where it wants to go without you trying to change and move it and trying to adjust it without judgment, your mind will tell you what you need to work on. That is literally how I got out of depression. Like all of these things combined.
So I'm somebody who's struggling, and I hear you talking about journaling. I think it could really help me. Is this something that I do once a day for 30 minutes? Is it just try and sit down and write a page? Is it weekly? What's that cadence like?
It's completely up to you. The more you do it and the more intentional you are about doing it frequently, the quicker you're going to move through like whatever you need to deal with. It needs to feel right. What I mean by that is you don't want to force yourself to do it consistently. And everyone gets this wrong. You don't need to journal consistently. Will it help? Will meditation consistently help you with focus and like controlling your emotions? Sure. But do you need it? No, you don't need it. And so instead of making these things an obligation, which will prevent you from growing, which will prevent you from getting where you want to go, do it when it feels right. Do it when you know you need it. Do it when you want to explore more, right? Because if you're forcing yourself, say you're low energy and you're depressed, you barely have any energy to get out of bed. Like, how often do you think you're going to journal? But the thing is, if you are motivated and you are excited and you do want to make the change, the more you do it, the better it is. The quicker you're going to move through this stuff. And so there is no set time or amount of time or date or whatever. But I will say, give yourself like 30 minutes to 2 hours to do this like journaling and meditation exercise. I combine both. I do meditation and journaling at the same time. I call this a silent session, right? This is what I do with my clients too. Sit down, meditate, clear your mind, no distractions, everything's on do not disturb. And then you just have a pen and paper there, close your eyes if you need to, and you just allow thoughts to come in. First, it's going to be surface level. You're going to think about, oh, what am I going to eat for dinner? Pizza. Okay, cool. And then as you sit there for longer and longer, your mind is going to be done with the surface level stuff. And it's going to go deeper and deeper into like your emotions, your thoughts, your pain, your misery, traumas, whatever is going to come up. You just want to write it out. You don't want to judge yourself. You don't want to try to force any thoughts. You literally just write whatever your brain is thinking, and that's it. No judgment, no creation of the flow of what you want. That's it. It's literally that easy.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing a lot of this process of healing, of self reflection. I hope that a lot of people find it very helpful. I know that it's pretty similar to things that I've done myself to work through some of the deeper valleys of life. I know that for me, a lot of it has been through prayer and a mixture of that and like harsh analysis of what's gotten me to where I am and where I'm getting hung up, ways that I was making my own life worse. Definitely that resonates with me. And I think it's a really great strategy towards pulling yourself out of a rut if you're in one and making your life even better if you're not in one. I'd like to hear a little bit about where you draw inspiration from, whether it be literal heroes in history or pop culture, people you know in your life, figures from a show, characters. What inspires Brian to keep going and to continue developing as a person?
You know what's really interesting about this? I actually haven't thought about this in a really long time or like in a while. And I think in the past, I maybe drew inspiration from other people, but most of my inspiration now comes from me. I am my own sense of inspiration now. I am the driving force of my entire life. Like, why wouldn't I be inspired by myself?
Is that a vision for a future you of what you could be? Or you're inspired by how much progress you've already made or something else?
It could be all at the same time. Like, it could be my past, the things that I've gone through. It could be the future that I have. But ultimately, it's just like me as an entity, as a soul, as a whole. And one thing that I did want to say is I'm not religious, but I think religion is amazing for people. I am very practical, but I think religion in itself can help a lot of people. Did you say God earlier? I think you did.
Yeah, I said that I pray. I
You
personally
pray,
don't
yeah.
align a lot with the organized parts of religion,
Same.
but I think there's a lot of value in it. And I have a personal relationship with God that I try and nourish and keep alive. And I feel like I get a lot out of.
That's beautiful. And I think everyone needs something like that. For me, it's not God specifically, but I call it God for other people to understand. For me, it's like the truth or like the universe, whatever you want to say. But yeah, like I think there needs to be some sort of spiritual complex within us that we go to. I call it intuition. And like religious Christian people will say word of God. To me, it means the same thing.
Definitely a lot to unpack there. And I think more than one podcast could do justice, but I think that there's a lot of truth in what we're saying. Whatever path you take, connecting to something greater than yourself and not getting caught up in the inward self servingness that modern life and culture promote so much, trying to maintain connected to others, to society, to your neighbors, and maybe to some greater sense of truth or being or purpose or God,
Yeah.
however you end up finding that meaning. And
Yeah.
now this is gamers growing up, and I like to ask everybody playing different games. It could be board games, Dungeons and Dragons, card games, video games, even sports. You learn a lot of different skills. And I'm curious, are there any skills that you learned playing games that you think you use in your everyday life?
Oh, man. So actually, I want to say something to add on to something that you said earlier, which was what game did you love growing up? And
Yeah.
I do want to say I had a lot of fun with the OG Call of Duties, like Call of Duty 4, as well as Halo and Halo 2. I just remember eating Doritos and Cheetos and Hot Pockets and then just LAN gaming online, split screen with my friends on small ass TVs and like
Hmm.
dual wielding SMGs as Master Chief. Oh my God, those were the days, man. But, anyways, that was a sidebar. Yeah, what do I learn? I really like solo leveling. And here's the thing, it ties to video games because the idea of solo leveling is like you're in a video game and you can level up in life. And
You mean the anime or manga?
the anime, yeah.
Gotcha.
And
Me too.
so fucking love it. It's such a good show. It's so good. But the philosophy behind video games, the RPG aspect is so real in life. Literally any skill
Yeah.
that you want to have, you can have. All it does is take practice. Like, do you remember Oblivion, like the original Oblivion? You would level up every time you jumped. Not every time, but like the more you jump, the more experience you get for jumping, the better you get at jumping, right? The higher you can go and the farther that you can go. It's literally everything in life. If you want to be better at your mental health, same thing. If you want to be better at your physical health, same thing. If you want to be able to control your mind better, you just have to control your mind more. It's so fucking stupid how funny and relatable video games is to real life. But what I will say is not everyone is born with the same capacities. We have RNG, right? Because we're born with specific RNG and we're born with specific mins and maxes, like what we cap off at, right? And so can we build up certain skills to be better? For sure. But there's certain skills that we're going to be naturally good with an XP bonus in, and those are the things that you want to focus on in life. What do I naturally gravitate towards? What is my dharma? This is like an Indian spirituality thing. Like, what is my duty? What is my personality, who I am, and what am I naturally, intuitively connected to? You want to follow that because that is going to give you the most fulfillment in life because that's what you care about most. You're just naturally good at it. You gravitate towards it. Everything is pulling you towards that thing. The word of God is like, dude, this is what you have to do. And then other times you have XP negatives, right? Where you're just like trying to do something, you just can't fucking get it. Like, obviously get as good as you can at everything, obviously, because we want to be superheroes and we want to be fucking Sun Jin Woo. But at the end of the day, it's just like you have to understand yourself. And I can't emphasize that enough. Like, the better you know yourself, the better you know your RNG, the better you know what stats increase quicker, and the better you can allocate your time and energy in the stats that you want to make better. And that's what makes you a fucking great character, is the specialization of the things that you do well, but also being well-rounded at the same time. And so that is so fucking important, man. And that's like such a good correlation that I've never truly made to this depth, but it's 100% true.
I think that's really fun. It's a great place of overlap and perspective for us because it's something I've said before on the show, and I'm sure I'll continue saying many times. I grew up playing World of Warcraft, and I view the world as skill bars. I think that everything in life, be it relationships, be it literal skills, learning programs, learning how to draw, or going and working on your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual connection, all of these things literally are skill bars. I think you said it quite well that you get some buffs or some debuffs that inherently make it a little easier, give people a leg up in some things. But I do disagree with you. I don't think that anybody has a cap. I don't think anyone's maxed. I think that if you wanted to be an Olympic athlete, you could train and years later eventually reach that level. Now, you have to factor in, obviously, like some things like that. Starting at a really young age might give you a crazy edge. But I think that in life, you are a collection of skills that you have worked to build over time. Everybody has a different network of people that have little buffs they can give you and increase those skills faster. And it's all about figuring out, like you said, where are your strongest skills? Where are you the most likely to be able to see quick growth and combining those into something that you find fulfillment from? Great conversation.
I 100% agree. And it made me think of like the Oblivion or the Skyrim characters where you can raise your speechcraft skill because they are like an expert trainer or whatever. And I thought that was fucking hilarious. But I will challenge this thought really quick though, is that do you truly believe that someone that's born like 4'11" is going to be able to sprint faster than someone that's built 6'2"?
Oh,
Do you see what I'm saying? Like these are
I
the
think that
inherent buffs and maxes that we have in RNG.
okay.
You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
maybe I misunderstood what you were saying there
Oh,
because I think that person could train to be as good of a runner as someone who's taller than them. The output that they get from it, yeah, there are objective things in life that your muscles might be
dude,
smaller
Usain Bolt is
or you
killing, absolutely destroying someone that's 5 foot. I'm sorry. Like
I
it doesn't
I
matter
don't know
how
anything
much they
about
train.
sprinting,
Yeah.
but I think that's why we break things into weight classes, into like places where competitiveness can flourish. Like I think that's just an objective fact of life that there's different builds. If you put it in the terms of a racing game, you wouldn't put a hypercar, like a super Bugatti that's tricked out, wouldn't have a competitive race with an off-road Jeep. But that
Yeah.
off-road Jeep might crush it on the trails, and the Bugatti would get its wheels
Yeah.
stuck in the mud. So I think that there's different builds, there's different character presets, there's different classes, like
Yeah.
healer,
We're
DPS, these types of things that you fall into. Some of that is out of your control, and it's just optimizing to have the best experience that you can with what you've got.
100%. I think we're saying the same thing, but our approach is a little bit different, which I think is funny. Because, like, in my head, I'm like, yes, Usain Bolt's absolutely destroying a 5 foot guy, but a 5 foot guy will be a unbelievable jockey compared to, you know what I mean? So I don't know
Mhm.
why I'm doing racing right now. So that's the only thing that comes in my head right now. But yeah, I guess that's what I mean when I'm like, there's certain bars that are capped out that you can't like increase that are just like fixed stats too. Are there skills that you can increase? Sure. But like, here's what I will say though, and this is the reason why I say what I say. I don't believe that everyone has the capacity to love in the way that I do. And I've never met anyone on earth so far that has the capacity that I have yet, like in person. And so that's why, like, I just genuinely believe that there is a gap between someone else's max and then like my max or your max. Because think about sports players, like sports games. Every person has a specific stat that like they can't max out on or like can't go higher than a certain bar or whatever, unless you like,
Physical limitations, yeah.
yeah. And so, but I mean, even love, dude.
Please expand. Like, tell us a little bit about that because you've got me wondering what you mean.
Yeah, for sure. So, love is definitely a harder concept to grasp. And even this is still consistently something that I'm working to understand more as well. But I just remember in the past, like, I've always been able to give more to others than I've been able to receive. Like, not been able to receive, but than other people are willing to give or are capable of even giving. Right. So, like, I have never met or dated a girl that was capable of getting to my level of what I'm capable of like providing in that sense. And also it's connected to like emotional intelligence as well too, because the things that I've worked through in life gives me the capacity to understand other people significantly better. And then there's like an intelligence disconnect there as well as a passion and love disconnect at the same time. And so I guess I don't know if I'm explaining this well, but this is just like what's coming up in my head is the mental emotional intelligence disconnect as well as the love, passion, and giving disconnect. I don't know if that
Yeah, I mean,
makes
it's a really complex issue, and I'm trying to be open-minded to it and not dismissive. That's not something a framework I haven't thought through before. I think I am an inherently I disagree with you because I think it's really hard to know what capacity someone has to experience love because it's so conditional on the two parties involved in it. Because you have the side of how you're expressing it, but also the depth at which you're feeling and experiencing it.
Mm,
And just because you've never encountered someone who's been able to express to you on that same level that you are either experiencing or expressing doesn't mean that they weren't experiencing it. And I definitely think that there's a lot of people with a lot of depth of love out there. I definitely resonate with you though as a giver, as someone who likes to be there for others and put your whole heart into your projects and your relationships, that it can feel really unfulfilling and really unsatisfying when you're not getting back something proportional to what you feel like you're putting out. But I would caution you, just guy to guy, to not limit yourself. I think that if you approach things with that mindset, that you have this like capacity that no one will ever be able to reach,
mm.
then you're like setting up future relationships to never even try. Because why would you expose all of that side of yourself to them if they're never going to be able to match? And so don't get caught in your own web there. And I don't know you well enough to know how deep that goes or if it's completely true for you, but I would say that there's a potential where you could be setting yourself up for a little bit of missing out on potential goodness in life by
I
viewing it that way.
completely agree with you, actually. I completely agree with you. And I think that is something that, like, I'm not perfect. Can I help people with a bunch of shit? Yeah. And I think this is definitely one of those things that I tend to struggle a little bit more with. And I'm like
Mhm.
very familiar with it. So, yeah, definitely am open minded to not thinking that way in particular. And I think that is just something that I resonate I resonated with before. I don't know if I believe that's true anymore for myself, but yeah, like I completely agree with you. I wonder why I said that. I don't know if I even believe in that anymore. But I do think that I still do believe that people have different capacities for things. But
Mhm.
you are right in the sense of like people's ability to express what they feel because they could feel something at the same level as me, right? But
Mhm.
the way that they express it doesn't align with what I need in order to feel what they feel. And so I 100% agree with you on that. I think that's where like love languages come in or like communication and being able to show your love to that person in the way that they need in order to and that's like a different thing, which is probably communication and being able to like actually just express what you're trying to say. So
Oh, yeah, for
I
sure, 'cause
100% agree with
communication's a
you on
major
that, man.
skill. Well, I'm glad we're both getting some great value.
Coaching the coach. Let's go, bro. I love learning about stuff. I love learning about stuff. Yeah, I love new perspectives, man. This is literally why I love talking to people because you never know like how you could potentially shift. Like I'm always open-minded to new ideas. So yeah, that was actually really insightful, man. Thank you for that.
Awesome, man. I'm enjoying it. And
You're like, yes, I get to coach the coach. Fuck this guy.
hey,
Yeah.
I think that everybody has a lot of wisdom in them, and to be able to both get value out of each
Yeah.
other and our different experiences and knowledge is awesome. I think that's a sign that the podcast is going successfully, and it makes me
Fuck
happy.
yes, bro. Fuck yes.
The last question I have for you in this section, talking about your coming of age and your adult mindset and your motivations and frame of mind, is have you ever felt pressured to fit into a specific stereotype by society? And I leave it super open ended because everybody has a different take and interpretation of that. But like, how have you felt put in a box and what was it like working through that? Do you still feel that way?
Definitely not as much anymore, but coming from Asian parents, I think most Asian Americans will have a really good understanding of like my situation, or even just like immigrant parents in general. Yeah, you're expected to act a certain way. We came to this country to give you a better life. Your expectation from us is to be what we want you to be. Dude, my whole
Mm,
life has been that. That is one of the biggest things that has taken me the most amount of effort to work through is the expectation of other people on me that I chose to agree with and follow. Like I did everything to make my parents happy, but ultimately it was like I feel responsible for making my parents happy because I felt like my brother didn't follow in the footsteps of what my parents wanted. So, being the youngest, I was like, oh, okay, so I need to do this now. It's my responsibility to fulfill my parents' dreams. And all of my pain and misery comes from that.
yeah, I think that's not uncommon by any means. I myself worked through first my goal in life, my main motivation was make my parents proud. And when I felt I'd done that, it was prove to myself that I could do it, even if it's hard. And then when I had done that, it was like, okay, be successful. What the fuck does that mean? It really then that launched one of the darker parts of my life trying to grapple with this. Wait, I have to define what success means. What? No one's telling me? There's nothing I'm trying to live up to anymore, and I'm
Yeah.
living up to myself,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I definitely get that, and I think that almost everybody listening can relate to some guiding figure in your life wanting good things for you, having good intentions, wanting you to succeed, but then maybe putting that in a way that puts pressure on you that now you have this dream or this ideal you're trying to live up to that's impossible or that is very ephemeral and not well defined. So,
Yeah.
how have you worked to escape that? You said it's not a box that you really find yourself pushing against the walls of anymore. I'm sure you're still grappling with it at some extent subconsciously, but like, how have you lessened its daily impact on your life?
I'm gonna be honest. I think that's the catering to my parents thing. I think I'm like basically, if it's still there, it's got to be like 1% or like 0.1. But I've spent most of my life working through that, if I'm being honest. And what you're talking about is the natural progression where it's okay, please my parents, okay? Show myself that I can be independent. And then after that, it's like, what is the meaning of life and success? That is the most
Yeah,
painful part because, okay, I just went through satisfying other people's wants and expectations for me. Now I have to prove to myself that I'm valuable. And then now I have to understand, like, what the fuck everything is connected to and how the world works. And it's just so metaphysical that it's just completely overwhelming when you get to that point. And I think that's what makes it so hard. But how did I work through it, and do I still grapple with it? How did I work through it? The biggest thing that changed my perspective on my parents' impact on me was I one day I just was like, what if they died? What if they died tomorrow? Both of them. What if both my parents just died tomorrow? And I was like, who am I? What's my identity? What the fuck am I going to do? Like, I've done nothing for myself for 24, 25 years of my life. Like, I
mhm,
literally have no idea who I am. That's where I was at. So the idea of what if my parents were gone? Because I've done everything for them up to this point. What now? And the thing is, like, that's what happens when you live for other people. Is like, they're not going to be there in the future at some point. And
mhm.
it's like, what can you say about your life when no one else is involved? And this goes back to what we talked about earlier, which is self reflection, understanding yourself, working through your traumas, right? Like it's
Yeah,
truly without any external validation or affirmations or ideologies. Who am I? And that sounds like a really simple thing to figure out, but that shit is insanely fucking hard. Because when you start auditing,
yeah.
like what's actually my values and what actually are my beliefs, you start to realize, oh, I can actually just choose. And then when you're like, oh, I have the opportunity to choose who I am, like I get to respec my character. Wait, what the fuck? What do I do? What do I put my specs in, dude? And
Exactly.
oh god, dude, it totally relates to gaming. It's so funny. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, and then that's like how you get out of it is the auditing of your life, questioning everything. That's how you get out of it.
All right, so Brian, I want to talk a little bit about your relationships, and that's like where your friends are from. I think that as relationships are moving more and more online, that it's not necessarily harder to make friends. But you and I were just talking about how we feel like a friendship growing right here from doing this podcast. But I think
Yes.
that the ways that you're building friendships are new. And I'm trying to get a kind of a pulse on where people's close friends are coming from. So if you had to break it down into percentages, like, where did you meet your friends? Are they people that you grew up with? Is it people that you've met professionally and then it's those relationships have developed? Is it through friends of friends? Is it through an activity? If you could like give me the major sources of friendship in your life and rough estimates, like percentages of how that breaks down for your inner circle.
Damn, that's a tough one. I would say that the largest source of friends is probably local, just people that I've bumped shoulders with or people that I know and friends of friends growing up. I honestly, I don't even know if I connect with those people like that much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The people that I this is the coolest shit, by the way, in the world that we live in, is the stuff what we're doing right now is like building friendship, right? But
Mm-hmm.
what's even cooler than this shit, Nick, is on my trip to go to Canada, I met
Mm-hmm.
two friends that I met online. Like one
Oh, the
dude,
real life meetup.
and we are just like so aligned in life and ambition and motivation. And like I have another friend and she's a coach in the program that I'm a coach in, and I met up with her. And these people are like people that I feel like really connected to because
Mm-hmm.
it was the way that we met was organic, but it was through the things that I was interested in. And what I will say right now is like the community that I'm like really excited to explore, that is probably one of my favorite communities I've ever seen so far, is the motorcycle community. Like the people that are into motorcycles are like nerdy, goofy, weird, but also really fucking awesome and also like dangerous shit. So it's like such a unique combination of different personalities all in one.
Yeah.
And these people are just like really kind because you never know when someone's gonna die. And so
Yeah.
it's really easy to connect with people that are risk takers, that are excited about this same thing that you're excited. They work on their bikes. Like you don't meet that many people that like don't actually tinker with their bikes, because the people that are into motorcycles are very into it. And I would say the majority of my friends are still local, so probably like 60%. I would say like 20% are online and 20% are probably from like maybe 1% is from a job that I've been in. There's
Mm-hmm.
one guy and his wife was from college, so maybe that's 2%. And then
Gotcha.
like the motorcycle community, I've just integrated so many people from that into my life that I talk with pretty consistently now. I would say that's probably the ratio ish.
I think that's
Um,
really cool with the bringing up the motorcycles. I had a similar experience with the like underground rap community. And it's something that
yeah, I
I went
know
to a
that
concert
community
by
too.
myself when I was like 17 and I was like, "Oh god, like these people are like I like really tough music." I'm like, "I wonder who in the world is going to be here."
Nerds, bro.
And yeah, it was the
Nerds.
friendliest people. I
They're
mean, even people,
nerds,
even
dude.
like the
They're
goths
nerds.
who are dressed really aggressively and have spikes coming out of their ears and nose.
Nicest people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
teddy bears.
Teddy bears.
Wonderful souls.
Yeah.
Like, I've made so many friends just going out and listening to the type of music that I like and going to concerts by myself and just, like, trying to talk to people, and I think that's really cool that you found another community. We can keep building up a list of things that, like, "Hey, if you're into this, go be into it with other people
Oh
around
my
you,"
God.
and
For
you might
sure.
find some good friends. I think that, it's just all about getting out there and doing something that you like that attracts people that are like-minded to you, that share those values.
That's all it is, man. The communities are still there. You just have to find them. I think the modern social media landscape is just, oh my God, there's no communities out there. Life sucks, blah, blah, blah. Everyone's on social media and on their phones. And yes, that's true to a certain extent, but you have to recognize that there will always be people that are interested in the things that you're interested in. All you have to do is be a little bit creative and figure out where they're at, whether that's Facebook groups or Discord or whatever. There is a community for something that you like, as weird as whatever. Maybe you like going to peach festivals. You just have to find those communities because they're definitely out there.
There's enough people that they're putting up the festivals.
A
That's a good sign.
100%, man.
And as a life coach, how does that affect your relationships? Do you think you have enough time for the people in your life? It sounds like you were saying you have quite a bit of flexibility So if you're working for yourself, then you're not forced to miss that graduation or have to work through somebody's birthday party. Has that been your experience?
Yeah. So ultimately, you work as much as you want to work, you make as much money as you want to make. So the thing is ultimately finding your personal balance. Because if you want to work a lot and miss a bunch of stuff, do that. If you want to work a little bit, make enough to survive and hang out with your friends and go drinking every week, you can do it. So again, like this is the philosophy that I have, man, which is the truth. It's just like you are accountable for everything in your life. You're responsible for every outcome in life. So whatever you want to do, just do it. Like whatever makes you happy, just fucking do it. Sure, do you need money to survive? Yeah, get food on the table and have a place to stay. But after that, literally your whole world is your oyster. You can do anything. And so that's what I always say is find the balance that works best for you. Everyone has different amounts of what they need and they need different amounts at different times. So it's a constant balancing act. And it's, oh, I feel a little bit lonely. Okay, go hang out with your friends more. It's, oh, I just want to sit at home, play video games. Okay, play video games more. Like your mind and your body will tell you what you need. All you need to do is just listen to it. And that's what I call the voice of God, is just like the gut feeling in your stomach, like the truth, the intuition. Like you will know what you need. Your mind and body will tell you.
Now, one last thing I want to ask while we're looking at relationships. We've talked about the personal relationships, but when it comes to professional relationships, you're working with people. That's like your main bread and butter. And when it comes to networking, when it comes to finding mentors and new clients, and I know that some of these you have systems for, but what I really want to ask is if somebody finds that to be something that is a huge source of anxiety, or if they're intimidated by it, if they're an introvert or they have a hard time talking to other people, do you have any wisdom to share about how to prepare yourself and to go about that? Any frame of mind or any advice you could share?
I love this. Yeah, I want to dispel introvert and extrovert. When you connect with anything and choose it as your identity, you will automatically do everything in your power mentally to be able to be that thing. So basically, if you call yourself an introvert, you're going to keep acting like an introvert. If you call yourself a pessimist, you're only going to see the things that are negative going on in life. And so if you recognize that this is something that you've chosen and you just choose not to choose that like identity anymore and just choose to be you, I would say if you still have some anxiety, it is good to know that everyone feels the same type of anxiety that you have, especially when going into social places and stuff like that. Some people feel a little bit less, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. Everything that you feel is uncomfortable can be trained to be comfortable. Right? It's like playing a guitar. You play a guitar for the first time, you're going to be ass cheeks. But then when you continue to play over like a year or two, you're going to get better. I'm not saying social anxiety is going to take that long. It's going to be significantly less. Like the first time you go do something in public, you're going to feel the maximum amount of anxiety that you're ever going to feel. You do it again the next day, it's probably going to be like half, right? And then you do it again, and it's going to be half. And you do it again, and it's going to be half. So every time you do something that you're uncomfortable with, the more you do it, the easier it's going to get. This goes for every type of behavior too. If you're suffering from social anxiety, start really small, right? Go like walk outside in a public, go to a cafe and just talk to the barista and then just be like, hey, hope you're having a good day. You don't ask any questions. You just like, hi, thanks for the coffee, right? Simple interactions make life easy. Or if you're like in a city or on a college campus, you just walk around and you be like, you just like nod at people. You just make eye contact, hold eye contact, nod at them, right?
Sounds a lot like you're saying how to get comfortable taking up space.
Yeah, for sure. So week one, you just like either head nod or you wave at people once a day in public, right? Every day for 7 days. Week two, you say hi. You actively say hi to someone once per day for an entire week. Then you like stop someone and you compliment them. Hey, you say something more specific about what they're wearing, right? That's week three. And then week four, you strike up a conversation and see if you can talk about surface level things. And then after week 4, right, week 5, then you try to have something a little bit more deep conversation. I try to, and the thing is, you'll get rejected, which is the perfect thing. What you need to do is you need to feel the rejection, because the fear of rejection is actually scarier than actually getting rejected. You might feel a little bit shitty, but then you have to recognize, okay, it's not about me, it's about them. They're busy, they don't want to talk. I have shitty social skills, but I'm practicing, so it's fine. And then the last week, then you like have a deep conversation, ask them about something that's important to them, right? And so the trajectory of this stepping stone of why you do this is because like you're dispelling the fear early on of like the interaction itself. And then week by week, you continue to build on it. So you start one thing, it's uncomfortable, you get used to it. You start the next thing, it's uncomfortable, you get used to it. And so you continue to expose yourself to the thing that you're scared of, but in incremental phases where you can handle it. And so if you are in like unbelievable social anxiety and you literally can't even leave the house, right? Then I would ask like, why, what is the fear that's behind that? And that's something that you have to work through first before you even go outside, because that's already going to hinder your progress because you won't even be able to do it. Right. So incremental changes, incremental practice, it is a skill that you can learn. Social skills is a skill. That's why it's called social skills. So
Everything's a skill bar.
everything is a skill bar. That's what I'm saying, Nick. You can get better at anything you want. You don't have to be introverted. You don't have to be like secluded at home. You don't have to not have friends. All of these things can be had. You can fucking do it. It just takes practice.
So, Brian, now I just want to check in on your health and ask you that if you had a health bar out of 100, and it was taking into consideration not just your physical health, but your mental health, your emotional health, your sense of connection to something bigger than yourself, your overall well being. How healthy would you say at this exact moment in time is Brian out of 100?
Oh shit, man. I would probably have to say like high 90s probably. There's
Woo!
not really a lot that I feel like I'm missing in life right now. The only thing that I genuinely would like would be like a wife and a family. That's the only thing that I don't have that I would know that I'd be excited to have. But like besides that, like overall health in every way, my shoulder hurts sometimes, so maybe 95. Was it 95?
Okay, that's
Yeah.
awesome. It sounds like things are aligning well in your life. It makes a lot of sense. You have the time to take care of yourself and to pursue things. It sounds like in the proportion that you think that you need to. You're listening to your body a lot. You're listening to yourself. You've been doing a lot of work to get in touch with what you need for fulfillment. And do you want to talk about just specifically anything you've learned from that journey, things that are working really well?
Yeah, here's the thing, man. It's everything is connected. So your mental
For
health,
sure.
your physical health, your spiritual health, all of it is working interconnectedly. And so when you're lacking in one, you're going to start losing points in like other places. And so life in my head is a game of maintenance, of just continuing to, yeah, it's just like continuing to make sure that I like to think of life as like stove burners, where it's like sometimes the gas will come up a little too high and it's, oh, it's too hot. And then sometimes the gas will get too low or the burner will turn off. And so with all of this entire stove, it's just trying to make sure that all the burners are at the right amount of gas, as well as just like maintaining all the nozzles and making sure that they're like balanced.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Making sure that one thing isn't drawing more energy and causing the other parts of the machine to work inefficiently because of that. They
Yeah.
all are interconnected and rely on each other.
Yeah, but there's also a caveat too, because like sometimes you need to focus on some things over others temporarily, and that's okay. There's different seasons for different reasons. I love saying that, but sometimes you want to focus on your career. Sometimes you want to focus on your relationship. Sometimes you want to focus on like your physical health, and that's okay. It's just maintaining and making sure that you don't neglect other things too. So it's okay to burn some things a little hotter temporarily, but I would say try your best to keep yourself balanced.
Yeah, I really like that. The way you said it's like a management game. It's the first time I've heard it presented that way, but it's not the first time that I've heard this framework for thinking about life and thinking about your wellness. And I think it's really useful to think of things as being extremely interconnected in the same sense that, like, parts of your body, if you don't take care of your stomach, your body's going to have less resources to maintain the health of the other parts of your body because it's so focused on sending everything to get your stomach feeling better. If you have a cut and you don't heal it, then your body's going to be trying to fight off all the infections that come in there, and the other parts of your body aren't going to be getting all of the resources that they would otherwise because you got to divert things. And I think that's just like a natural part of life. You're always going to be leaning on one system, like with the others. Where you're strong supports what's weak, but like trying to raise everything up increases your overall capability, your overall cap. And that's huge. That's everything, is trying to maintain balance in that and like steady progress.
100%. I think I need to move.
We're burning. Vampire game, the sun hurts. Would you say there's any major buffs or debuffs that you've grappled with trying to keep your health up?
I'm amazingly average in every way when it comes to that sort of thing. I feel like I feel like I'm just like a normal dude. I haven't had any like crazy health problems. I'm like super grateful for just my health in general, but also the mind that I have to be able to work through everything, because the reason why I'm able to help people is because I have this capacity and I've worked through a lot of these things in order to be able to help people. And yeah, man, just super grateful, honestly. I'm just like, just average, I would say, for everything. There's not any, I'm pretty shit when I learn things at first, but I learn things really quickly. I think I have an XP boost, but when I first start something, I'm like really terrible at stuff compared to other people in general when I first start. But then I like learn very quickly. So I think I have an XP boost in that area.
Sweet. I'm glad that you're able to turn that around and turn it into something really useful.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk about satisfaction with life and fulfillment. And I'm going to give you this question at the front to start thinking of a number out of 100. And it's the last number I'm going to ask you for in this conversation, I promise. But before we get to your number of how fulfilled you are in life, can you tell me, to you right now, what do you think are the criteria of a happy, fulfilling, satisfying life? What does that mean to you?
It's the same thing that I've been saying, which is just knowing yourself, truly knowing yourself, and just doing the things that genuinely bring you joy in life, being surrounded by the people that bring you joy in life and love you, and just being surrounded by that. I think that's ultimately really what it is. Like, you do what you want and you do the things that you enjoy and you surround yourself with the people that you love and love you. I think it's really that simple. But like where people go wrong is just you don't know who you are and you don't know what you want. So they get stuck in doing things that society, their parents, peers have told them to do. And they're just misaligned. But yeah, it's just that simple. I believe.
I care to agree. And so, would you say out of 100, you're sitting pretty high up in satisfaction? You've done all of the work to figure out who you are and what matters to you.
Yeah, I think I say this pretty frequently. If I died today or tomorrow, I'd be pretty happy with where my life is at. Would I want to? Is there more things that I want to do? Yeah, of course. There's always more things that I want to do, but am I like mostly content with life? Yeah. My satisfaction number, I would say probably pretty similar, like 90 to 95.
Great. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Always happy to hear someone reporting back high numbers. And
Yeah. Have you had anyone say 10?
we have had some quite low answers. And if you want to see what paths lead you to low satisfaction, watch more episodes.
It's really good to know what does not work in order to know what actually works. Yes, for sure.
Yeah. I would definitely say it's not uncommon for people to get stuck and either not figure out themselves, like you said, or to surround themselves with the wrong people and to get stuck in a rut somewhere where they're unhappy. That's the whole point of the show, is trying to give people tools to avoid that or to fight through it and to overcome it.
Yeah, same question to you. What is your health satisfaction and what's your life satisfaction?
My health number and satisfaction number right now, I
Uh,
would say when I answered this in episode 0, I'll give you an answer for right now when we're recording, but I framed it where it was imagining my total, the highest I could ever be to the lowest I could ever be, and I'm letting everybody define it how they want. I think that my total health right now, I'm definitely on a journey of getting more like physically fit. It's been something that it's probably like my fifth serious run at it. And then there's always been some excuse that comes up, or I'm somebody who's really injury prone and really sickly. I'll catch a cold and be out for months. So I've had some bumps in the road there, and I've finally got something going that is sustainable and I'm seeing real progress for. So I'm really jazzed about that. I think that I have an idealized version of what I'm working towards. My health wouldn't be anywhere near 100 yet because there's still a lot of room for growth. But I think that like emotionally and mentally, I'm in the best spot I've ever been in my life. Definitely that comes from doing that work of being in the deep valleys, figuring out what you value and how to build a life around that. I've got really wonderful friends, I've got really wonderful family, and I get to spend a lot of time with them. So I'd say my total health is probably 82, and my satisfaction with life, I put it 90 because I would say 100, but I think that once I get like a really deep, meaningful relationship, like I find a wife and have kids, I think that there's a lot of room for growth there. But I'm very satisfied with how things are right now. I'm feeling very fulfilled, is really the pointed part of that. I feel like doing this podcast is bringing me a ton of fulfillment. It's allowing me to do work that I think really matters, is really useful. And that is what matters to me. So yeah, I would say 82 and 90.
Dude, I think that's awesome. And I think it's really interesting because your version of measurement is actually quite different from mine. The contentment that I feel isn't from thinking about the idealized version of what the potential could be. I think the reason why my numbers are so high is because it's just like what I feel about it in the moment now.
Hmm.
And if I were to idealize, my numbers would be significantly lower. Like, again, what I want for myself in the future, and that's 100, that I could always be far from that.
Yeah.
And so I guess it's interesting that you took that dimension of what do I want in the future. Your number's always going to be lower
Hmm.
than if you were to just be like, where am I at now? And am I happy with where I'm at? And I think for me, that is what fulfills me is just like thinking about the future and working towards the goals, but not making that the priority and like measurement cap.
Yeah, no, that because that's a really dangerous trap you can fall into, is to never appreciate what you have because you're always looking for something else. I think that's just a problem these days. But I like to look at the potential. I find a lot of inspiration in it. So for
I
that
do as
question
well.
specifically,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
really interesting how we took separate directions in that. But yeah, if I were just to measure like where I want to be, dude, I'm probably at 50. There's so much shit that I
Sheesh.
want to do if
Hmm.
for success wise, like I'm probably at 50 or 60. Like there's so much that I want to do. You know what I mean? I'm not even close to where my potential is. It's
Yeah.
probably even lower than that. But I guess again, if it's it's a hard question though, right? Because if it's just
Hmm.
satisfaction, full satisfaction, does it even make sense to talk about like the specific future too, though? Because if we're talking about, because satisfaction is a feeling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would
That's
say that's like
definitely
very
like your
high. And
sense
then,
of fulfillment. I think that
yeah.
yeah, if you have everything that you need just because like you envision a different type of fulfillment, I don't think it negates the value or the potency of the fulfillment you're getting now.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
You're pretty high up there in fulfillment. It sounds like no matter how you're measuring it, you're getting a lot of fulfillment and satisfaction in life. And my question to you is, are you doing anything to continue growing that, to continue fostering it, to improve it? And where do you draw that motivation from? What are you doing and what keeps you going?
God, I'm going to sound like a broken record. It's really just checking in with yourself and making sure you're doing the maintenance that's needed, right? To just be like, hey, how am I feeling today? What's going on? Is there anything that I need to work through? Is there anything that's triggering me? Is there anything that is like coming up that needs to be addressed? Like, how are my burners doing? And then when you look at that, you can really see, okay, what do I need to focus on? And it really is just like continuing the balance of life. And then also, are you doing things that make you happy, right? If you like concerts, are you going to concerts? If you like video games, are you playing video games? It could be anything, but ultimately, does it fulfill you? Does it align with the future that you want to have? Are you living your dream life? And dude, I want people to hear this. Really sit down and think about what your dream life is. And I'm saying like If money weren't an issue, if time weren't an issue, if there was nothing holding you back from living what you wanted to live, what would your perfect day look like? And most people will say, I want to wake up with coffee. I want to wake up with my partner. I want to take my kids to school. I want to come back home, work on my business, or go to work. I don't want to work too long. Maybe go for a little hike, hang out with some friends, have some dinner with the family, watch some TV, play some board games, and then just go to bed. Maybe do something creative. That's most people. So you don't need a lot in life. And once you realize that, like, what you actually want isn't insane, it's usually not unattainable. Like, most of the things that you want are super, super realistic, and you can start living that now, bro, it makes life so satisfying because this is all I wanted. I don't need anything else. The dreams of success and like all those things don't matter as long as you're living your day to day the way you want. I wake up, I go to the gym, I like work on my business a little bit. I go make some food or I go grab a smoothie and I come home, I ride my motorcycle, I hang out with my friends. I like watch some TV while I eat, jump on this podcast, like and then I maybe watch some more TV, work a little bit more and then go to bed. That's the life that I want right now. And like whenever I want to do a trip, I'll just be like I'm feeling like going on a trip and I'll literally just pick up and fucking go on a trip. I'll literally buy a plane ticket or put a foam pad in my car and just do it. That's how you stay fulfilled is just like fucking doing the things that you enjoy. But again, like the first thing you have to do is understand who you are and what you want. You can't do your perfect life if you don't even know yourself.
I
Can we
was
do the
thinking yellow,
couch?
maybe. You wanna do the
The
couches? We
couches
can.
are cool. Can you sit
Just
on
Jason
this?
Power? Yeah, you can lay
Oh,
down.
oh, I like this. This is a therapy session, bro. This is nice. Yeah, this is nice. I like this.
All right, let me frame it.
That I really like that we're laying down. This is so funny. This is the shot right here. You got the antlers on top.
All right, Brian, for our little virtual therapy session, it's time to talk about purpose. What does purpose mean to you? Is a question that I'm asking everyone because I haven't gotten the same answer back a single time. I think that it's something that people value in different amounts. For some people, it completely is something you structure your life around. For others, not so much. And it's something that I think everyone has to define. So, how do you define purpose? And would you say that you found it or you're still trying to figure that out?
Hell yes, bro. So here's the problem with purpose. Hold on. Give me a second. I need to eat a heart really quick. Oh, so good. All right. So back to purpose. People make the misconception that purpose is one thing. That's not what purpose is. My definition of purpose is all of the small things in life, are they aligned? And that's ultimately what it is, right? So when I talk about, so I have this thing that I call the house of clarity, which is the different pillars of life, right? So mental health, physical health, social health, environmental health, like where you live and what you have, right? Your career, your finances. But at the foundation of it all is like, how well do you know yourself? How do you feel? What do you want out of life? And purpose is all of it. It's not one thing because like people are constantly like, oh, I need to find my purpose, this one thing that's going to satisfy every need. And that's not possible. And that's also the issue with relationships too. We expect our partner to do everything that our community used to do. They're our confidant, they're our sexual partner, they're our everything. There are knowledge, there are like encyclopedia, there are like whatever we need, their emotional support, they're our therapist, whatever we need to get that from them or else they're not a good partner. But that's just not how people work. Like no one can be that thing. And so that's the same way that we look at purpose, which is like this one thing that's going to fulfill every single one of our needs. And that's just the wrong way to look at it. Like purpose as a whole is just, am I doing what I want? Again, am I happy in life? And am I surrounded by the right people? That is all purpose is like, am I doing what I want? Am I being happy? Am I just satisfied with the things that are going on in my life? That's it, dude. It's like people try to give this more meaning than it actually does, but it's the same answer as fulfillment. Know yourself, do the things you want, surround yourself with good people. That's purpose, bro. That's it.
Well, I guess I want to clarify a little bit and see if your answer changes. Because I agree with you on a majority of it. And I'll give you an example from myself. I definitely am not saying I have it figured out, but I have a definition that I'm running with. And I think that's important, is a working definition of where my main focus in life is. That's how I see purpose. And I think that as long as I'm doing something creative that helps other people in some way, I feel that is the driving thing that I can draw fulfillment from. And it's very specific to work. I think it's harder to define for some of these other parts of your life. Would you change your answer at all?
So I will be more specific about purpose in specific things because purpose, like I said, is all of it. But let me get a bit more granular. So,
Yeah.
what I mean by purpose is like, what is the meaning that you've attached behind the thing that you're doing? Right. And so
Okay.
let's talk about career, which is what everyone thinks purpose is based behind, which I completely don't necessarily agree with, but I do believe that it can be a driving force of purpose, like one of the driving forces of purpose that can help you feel more aligned in life. So
Yeah.
for me and for you, actually, like what you're doing right now, like for me, life coaching fulfills me because I do get to help people. I've always felt connected to people, even since I was a little kid. And I think ultimately, if we look at our childhood and the things that we naturally gravitated towards intuitively, that ultimately is our purpose. What did you like as a kid? What did you naturally connect with? What did you feel was normal for you? What is that thing that kind of sits in you that you maybe don't pay attention to that has always been there? Right. And so for me, it was talking to people, it was helping people. It was literally like just me interacting with people has been a constant in my entire life. And when I didn't have that, I was at my most miserable. Right. And
Uh,
to me, that is my purpose, is surrounding myself with people and helping people out, which is what I do every single day. That's why that purpose is so fulfilling, is because for me, that's what I need. But not everyone has that same need, that same intuition, that same drive that they feel when they were kids. So I would ask people to explore, what do you naturally gravitate towards? What is the thing that you always thought about, that you always connected with when you were younger? That's going to give you a sense of purpose that you could put towards career that could help. But again, learning the value behind that is also really important too. What's the purpose of having friends, right? A sense of community, not being lonely, enjoying other people's company and making great memories. That's purpose, right?
yeah.
Why do I want to eat good food that's tasty but also healthy? I value my health. I want to be healthy with my wife in the future. I want to be healthy for my kids so that I can play with them forever, so that I can like keep up with my energy in those things. That's my purpose. Like, what about mental health? The purpose of my mental health is to like, again, be supportive of myself, but as well as the people around me. Right. I need my mental health to be good so that I can have that purpose towards helping my clients, which is why I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do anything. I'm like, so I used to party all the time, but now I'm just like super straight edge because my purpose is helping people. And like my purpose for the work that I do is so important that I don't need anything else to take me out of that. And I would argue that if you drink and you smoke and you do that stuff, like, why? What does that actually provide you? And most people will say it makes me feel relaxed. Okay, so you have anxiety, you have stress. How else can you work through that without using substances, right? There's purpose in everything as long as you choose to give it meaning. And that's what purpose is. It's a choice. That's the main thing that I want people to understand is you are in complete control of your life. You can choose whatever you want, right? So whatever you want to have purpose will automatically have purpose, right? So if you're like, dude, I just want to be the best V Rising player ever, and I want to make content in V Rising, okay, that's your purpose. That's like the thing that you chose. Like whether it'll be successful or not, that's another thing. And you have to be like realistic in certain ways. But yeah, like you can do anything, man.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree with you where you're saying it's all about meaning and finding alignment with those skill bars we were talking about, and then your interests and your desires and your innate things that you're drawn to, and you assigning that meaning. That's a really good way to look at it.
Yeah. And I just want to give one more thing that I actually talked about with my friend not too long ago. So there's three things when it comes to like your body that will tell you what's going on and like how you address things, right? So your mind is your logic. That's how you think about things logically, right? Your
Mhm.
heart is the things that you feel. And the thing is, these are fallible. Like these things can get things wrong all the time. Your mind and your heart get things wrong all the time. The only part that doesn't get things wrong and is always right 100% of the time is the word of God and your intuition, your gut, your
Like your
stomach,
soul.
your soul. Exactly. That will always tell you what's right for you. So when girls are like, I know he's not right for me, which thing is telling you that? It's not your head. It's not your logic. There might be some logic behind it, right? But it's not your heart. Your heart is telling you to go with him, right? But it's your gut. It's your soul telling you that there's a misalignment here. And so if you don't listen to that, you're going to have a terrible relationship. But the thing is, sometimes you just feel connected to people. Sometimes it feels right. Like whether it's career, whether it's people, whatever it is, if you follow your soul, if you follow your intuition, God's word, you will never, ever go wrong because that is the ultimate truth over everything else. It's infallible. It's always correct. And so that's what I help teach people too, is you need to know how to listen and not push it away and back away from that thought and that the soul energy. I'm a very practical guy. Like I'm not woo woo at all, but this is the thing that I completely value in my life. And the more you practice listening to your intuition and your soul, the better you're going to get at it. Just like every other skill we talked about. And it will make your life so much better because your soul wants to align to what it's supposed to align to.
Developing that skill bar of listening to your soul. Powerful stuff.
Dude, yes.
All right, Brian, we have reached the part of the show that I fondly call counterspell. It's your opportunity to bring up any topic of conversation, ask me any one question, and get my take on something. What do you have for me?
I don't think else is going to do this the way that I do this. So I'm going to ask you, what is your perfect day? What we talked about earlier. If money were not an issue, resources were not an issue, nothing in existence could hold you back from living this perfect day. I want you to walk me through what your perfect day would actually look like. So pretend like you're living it. So you wake up in the morning, I wake up, and then I want you to live that entire day all the way until you fall asleep. And I want you to put in the things that are most important from the people, from what you're doing, from the work that you do, anything. Literally anything is possible. It's your perfect day. Like it's your dream day. What would that look like?
I would wake up and spend some time with my cats. I always try and spend the mornings and the nights, like first thing and last thing of the day with them, because it is really like grounding and centering for me to just be with a creature that loves you wholly and that you're their whole world. I love pets. And it's something that like has really been great for my mental. So I would definitely spend some time playing with my cats and then would I like to go and catch up on things a little bit. I think it's good to be informed, so maybe spend half an hour to an hour surfing the internet, catching up on the news of the day, and then go out to lunch. My perfect day, I would be waking up pretty late. I love trying new food and I love experiencing new places. So go out somewhere I'd never been before, get some good food with some people I care about, come back and do something creative. I like to be productive in the afternoons. So it would be film a podcast episode, maybe. And then I like to spend dinner with people I care about. So my family. And then after dinner, maybe we'll play a board game. Maybe we watch a movie. Or I don't know what the perfect day would have. Maybe let's just say watch a really great movie and then the end of the night, once everything's done, the sun goes down, I like to get online with my friends, play some video games, and connect with the people in my life that are far away. I have a lot of friends who live really far away, and I think that it's really fun to stay in touch with them. Yeah, and then like I said, spend a little time playing with my cats, and then go to bed, run it back.
That's awesome, man. So one thing that I want to challenge you for is what about, because you assessed your health and your satisfaction based on the future. So I also want you to think about what would your future dream life, like when I say perfect life, I'm talking about like everything. Because you talked about being a dad, you talked about having kids too. So I
Hmm.
want you to integrate that in as well. And I want you to integrate literally everything that you'd want in the future. And if it means the podcast, I want you to include that as well. So let's try this exercise again. And I want you to try to do that.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna approach it a little more broadly than the day, like the minute by minute or like hour by hour, because I think it would really sculpt based on whatever responsibility I take on. If I have kids, how many? What are they doing? Like, I want
Mm-mm.
them as much.
No,
'Cause
wrong way to approach
I
it.
don't know if we're going to
You
soccer practice
you
or
choose.
what.
You choose everything because this is your perfect day.
God,
And that's the
I
whole
don't.
point is it is a choice, right? And so
It's hard because I feel like like the thing that I would choose is for the people I love to be happy too. And if that means I go do something that I wouldn't choose to go watch a soccer game. But if my son loves that and it's his soccer game, then that would be part of my perfect day.
that's the thing. The whole point of the exercise is so that you can choose it. So I want to ask you again. I want you to try your best to live through this day in as much detail as possible. And I want you to choose every aspect of it because none of this is actually real. So that's the beauty of it is you get to choose exactly what happens throughout the day. And I'll explain the exercise at the end, but I really am excited to see like what you say because I don't think you're ever going to get a question like this in the future. And so I want to ask you this question and I want you to do your best.
Yeah, it's hard.
It is
Think about
hard.
it for
That's
a
the
minute.
point. Dude, this is what I'm saying when I say like people need to map out their dream life. Like, and then that's where you reverse engineer it. But first you have to really think about what is meaningful to you. So I want you to try your best. So what would you do when you wake up? So I wait, but you have to imagine that you're living in it. So close your eyes if you want, because sometimes that can help. And so I wake up. What's the first thing that you're doing? And who are you next to? Or like what's going on?
Yeah, I think I would wake up and hopefully I'd have
No, not
a wife who
hopefully.
loves me.
No, you have it.
I
Have it.
have, all right. In this dream life, I have a wife who loves me and I love quite a lot. And I wake up with her and spend some time together. And yeah, I think we would just talk about what we're going to do that
No, I think there's no. So notice when you say these things, it's so hard for you to be in the
to
moment.
commit.
Yes, this is
Interesting.
exactly what I want to say is because like it's so hard for us to see the dream life that we are like we constantly fight against it. So I want you to do your best to not describe, not explain, not do any of that stuff to just like showcase, okay, here's what I think or here's what I might or no uncertainty. I want you to truly live in that moment. I wake up next to my wife. Like I want you to be direct and I don't want you to explain anything. Go.
All right, I wake up next to my wife, we talk and figure out what we're going to do with the day. I spend some time with my cats and then go wake up my kids. It's the summertime, so we go out for family lunch. I let everybody sleep in and just do some reading in the morning. We go out for family lunch to a new restaurant I've never been to. I order something I've never had before and it's awesome, and my family likes it too. We decide to stop at a forest preserve on the way home and go for a walk together and then come back and I have a pool. So we go and swim in the afternoon and have a pool day together. Then we order in some dinner, watch a movie together, and my kids go off and do their own thing. I sit down and do some work on something that matters to me. Then I check in with my friends online and see how everybody's doing. We have some fun playing some games together. My wife would join in and then go to bed. That's the day.
That's awesome. I want to ask,
That's hard.
it's super hard.
It's really hard.
Yeah. And so there was a moment where you said, do something that for work that was like fulfilling. What does that look like to you?
This podcast.
Okay, so the podcast, but you were reluctant to say the podcast. Notice, dude. Notice
Yeah.
how our brain plays things out is the life that we choose to live. And so you like nature. You really want a family. You really want a wife. You really want kids. You really enjoy people in your life. And you want to do games and you want your wife to be included in everything. You fucking love food. I love food too. So I love that about you. But yeah, dude, the reason why we do this is to showcase like what's truly important to me and what blocks might I have when I try to say the things that are valuable to me. Because these things all matter to you. It's just how do you try to get around saying the thing that you actually want to say? What are the mental blocks behind that? This is like the coaching in action. This is seeing the mental state behind the reasons why we feel different things. I don't think there's any other podcast that I've ever seen that has done something that we've done, which is like genuinely exploring our own mental states in the moment of the podcast. And dude, this has been really interesting. And I'm curious, like, what was your experience going through all that and seeing how that played out in your mind and the words that you spoke? And like, how did you feel too? That's a big part of it.
Oh, I felt super uncomfortable. It's really weird because I view myself as someone who's really comfortable talking. It's something that I really like doing. And I was like fighting with myself the whole time when you said I couldn't be so wishy washy about it because I've always felt like an aversion to commitment. I feel sometimes like committing to something is killing all the potential for other things. And so I live in this like chase of having as many options as possible. And it makes me think about that quite a bit. That's uncomfortable, but
Mm.
I'm glad that we could do it. I think it's really useful. It's really cool. It's a showcase of some of the work that you do as a life coach. And I'm really glad that we got to do it together.
Yeah, dude, it was awesome. Oh my God. I could literally do this forever. Okay, one last thing. I promise. One last thing. Have you heard of where we have the illusion of choice, right? And so
Yeah.
what ends up happening is like we keep all these doors open and then it causes us to have indecision because we want the potential of everything. But
Hmm.
as you get older and as you lose opportunity, your doors close automatically without your choice. And so
Hmm.
as you grow into the future and as you lose opportunity, the world makes decisions for you. And so the
Hmm.
best thing that you can do is choose to walk through your own doors. Because the more you try to keep these doors open, the more you're going to have the illusion of choice, but then you're going to lose the opportunity of chasing something that actually matters to you. And so I would say,
Wow.
whatever you care about the most, right now in this moment, that's what you need to go after. Because if you wait and wait and wait and wait and wait, not only are you proving to yourself that you're a person that does not make decisions, that you are a procrastinator, that you are lazy, that you don't do the things that you say you're going to do. So you're reinforcing negatively who you are anyways. But on top of that, you're missing out on the potential of the growth that you would have had had you started it a year ago, 4 months ago. If you don't walk through that door will close for you. And this goes for
Damn.
every aspect of life. Like when it comes to like opportunity and feeling like you have potential, right? So it's like you're talking to all these different girls, right? So this actually makes it a little bit easier to understand because that was like broad. Like you actually met 5 really amazing women and you just can't decide. You have 5 women that are really amazing and beautiful in their own ways, but you have a hard time choosing what's important, right? So again, this comes down to who am I? What do I actually want? And what do I value? And what are the most important things for me? Because if you have values, have beliefs, you have these things that are important to you, it's much easier to choose the right thing for you because you already established what you actually want, right? Because these women are all going to be different in different ways. And then the things that they're showing you that they value, you're going to be able to tell the difference, right? And so when you know what you want, you choose the woman, then you build your life with that woman versus talking to all 5 of them for how long? Because some of them are going to be like, I found someone else. We're not moving forward. This is not it for me. So you're going to lose some women that way. And then if you keep that up for long enough, you're going to lose all of them. Maybe you're like, oh, what if I find another 5 girls in the future? You're not going to know what your future is. The only reality that you will ever have is what you have right now. And so choose what is most important to you right now. Literally nothing else matters. You don't need to think about the future. You don't need to think about the past. Do what you want to do right now or you're never going to be fulfilled. But I'm just saying, man, don't let the door close for you. Choose to walk through the door yourself. That's what this exercise is, man. I'm just excited for you, man, because like I see where you are at your journey and I know the road to the future for you. Like I know what happens later for you. So I'm just really excited to see what you do.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
All right, Brian, now we've reached cheat codes. This whole conversation is all focused in on talking to someone trying to figure out how to align their life. Someone just exiting high school, looking at college, and trying to figure out what they want to do. If you could go back in time and give your 17-year-old self 3 pieces of advice, what would they be?
Don't listen to anyone else, regardless of how important they are to you. That would be my first piece of advice. And along with that, follow your own journey. 2 would be don't put off the things that you genuinely want to do for the things that you feel like you have to do right now. It's important to enjoy life in all aspects. Try as many things as you can so that you can learn more about yourself and what you want. Try everything possible to get a better understanding of the world around you and who you are.
So try and really nail down what matters to you and what you're actually interested in. That makes sense. That's definitely the season of life for that.
Be kind to yourself and invest in yourself because you are more worthy than you realized.
Nice.
Yeah, basically, like you have the potential to do anything that you want within your RNG. And ultimately, it is just the way that you speak to yourself and the way that you perceive the world. Because you can do all of the finding your truth and exploration, but at the end of the day, like how you treat yourself is, oh my gosh, like that, the words that you say to yourself, the things that you think about dictate how everything plays out in your life, your energy, the people that you connect with, people that you surround yourself. And yeah. Oh, last one. Can I give a 4?
Ooh, bonus fourth. All right.
Bonus fourth, surround yourself with the people that you want to be like because those people
Interesting.
will rub off on you and they will give you insight and mentorship and challenge your beliefs in ways that you never thought. Yeah, surround yourself with good people, kind people that you want to be like.
Very wholesome and very actionable.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Cheers, man.
So, speaking less just to yourself now, and if there's someone they've heard you talk about being a life coach, they're like, that sounds freaking cool. I would love to do that. That is something that really sounds like it aligns with me. I ask everybody, is it a life that you would recommend? What character traits make up a person who could really enjoy living a life as a life coach? And what character traits should be a warning sign that, hey, this might not be the thing for you? I already can tell that like a sense of constant stability might be a red flag. If you need stability, having to rely on work that's inconsistent might be a problem. Would you agree with that? And then expand out.
Yeah, you said it there, right? Like the core foundation of this entire podcast about what I've said is like you just have to really truly understand who you are and what you need and how you create the foundation of your life is completely based on that, right? If you know that you're the type of person that just genuinely doesn't enjoy talking to people, first I would ask like why. People are amazing. Second of all, yeah, if that's not your vibe and that doesn't connect with you and that doesn't feed your soul, then it's not for you. But if you genuinely love talking to people and you genuinely hate listening to other people telling you what to do and you want to create your own business and you genuinely want to help people and you're okay with grinding and not knowing what's ahead of your future in recognizing that you don't have anything that's stable unless you like work on it consistently. Like the stable is in the consistency of your work, right? And yeah, I think it really has to be a passion for you. It has to be something that's truly important. That goes for any career path in life. And yeah, you have to probably be pretty similar to me. Understand people, know how to help people, and then if you find that people are always asking you for advice and you are helping them change their lives, like when they ask, this could be a path towards you because people naturally gravitate towards you in that way. I do believe that the world and people around you will give you signs of what you're supposed to be doing in life. I think it's up to you to recognize it, right? And so
Hmm.
that's ultimately what it is, like knowing yourself, recognizing like your energy and then just continue to follow that as clearly as you can. But it's totally doable. Like I said, you can do anything in life. I don't have a specific character trait or whatever, but yeah, like you have to be ready to just eat shit all the time and learn the basics of business because it's like it's a completely different way of living than you've ever lived in your life. Like business in general is what I mean. Because you're
Mhm.
constantly told what to do your entire life. If you want to do business, you will have some growing pains and again, I would say spend money learning from mentors that are reliable, that you've done your research on, that do what you want to do. Ask them what their life is like, pay them for their systems and processes, see if it's something that you actually want to do. That's the ultimate hack for life if you want to do a specific career. Pay someone to teach you. That's it.
Any other cheat codes that you can offer on finding success more quickly than you did when it comes to this career path or since you talk with a lot of different people and help them on their journeys through their career path, just general things that people of this age could be doing.
Oh man, don't fucking take life so seriously. You don't have to have your life figured out. Most people don't have their life figured out at 50, 60 years old. I have clients that are in their 50s and 60s and shit. And dude, no one knows what they're doing. I know you feel the pressure of everyone saying you should do this, you should do that, you need to have everything figured out. But be a kid, fuck around, try not to go to jail while you're fucking around. Like, you don't want to find out like that. But ultimately, dude, just try different things, get in trouble, have fun, explore. That's how you learn. And so just be smart about it, though, right? Don't do anything crazy illegal and live your life, do the things that you enjoy. And everything will work itself out as long as you take the time to really like audit your life and think about your past and like work through all the things that I said. Like that's the cheat code, man. Is just don't take life so seriously. Life is a long journey, man. It's all about sustainability. What can you do to simplify your life to make it easier so that you can do it for a long period of time? Because that's all it is. You're doing the same thing every day. Why not do things that you like every single day? You sleep for a third of your life, you work for a third of your life, and then you have freedom for a third of your life, hopefully, right? So, like, why not make your job more enjoyable so that you can enjoy 2/3 of your life because a third of your life is already gone to sleep?
All right. So, Brian, I heard this podcast a couple of months ago and I listened to you and I've been working through this journaling. I've been getting in touch with myself. I feel like I'm really making a lot of progress, but I want to be a life coach. How do I go about building credibility, getting people to take me serious? I'm like 17, 18. I'm going to tell people how to live their lives. Like, how do I get clients? What is that? How do I kickstart this? Is it something, do I just need to work a different job for a while and get some wisdom? Or do you think I could find success? Be honest. Would you pay an 18-year-old to tell you how to live your life and get out of a rut? And if so, what does that person need? How can they do it?
The good thing is, I will say that age is not an indicator of intelligence and is not an indicator of life experience. I
For
know
sure.
people that are in their 60s that act like 14-year-olds. So I'm 33. And so age itself is not a dictator. It all depends on what you've worked through, what you understand, your own knowledge, and your interpretation of like how well you can actually help people. Because here's the thing, if you want to be a coach, life coach, like purpose coach, like I am, you need to know how to actually help people. And so usually that comes with experience. And at 18, in general, most people have not had enough experience in order to actually help people. So I would argue, first of all, again, just go live your life. You don't need to like make millions of dollars right now. And if this is what you want to do, then go for it. I would say talk to as many people as possible in as many walks of life as possible. Understand the human condition the best that you can. Understand how people go through pain and how they worked out of it and how people were able to lead fulfilling lives. So if you ask deep, intelligent questions, you'll get deep, intelligent answers. And so ask the right questions to the right people to gain as much knowledge about how human beings work. Because if you want to know the truth, we're all really similar in a lot of ways. And the things that we want are all really similar. I want to be happy. I want to be healthy. I want to have good relationships with people. And I want to have a fulfilling life. Like it's all the same. So the details is in the fine print of understanding the specific person and what their needs are. So you have to be good at asking questions. And ultimately, if you're good at asking questions and you can understand like how people work, then you can help anyone get through anything at any point in their life. And it's just, and to build the trust, here's that was like the philosophical side, the business side of like how to actually make it work. Again, you go to ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT, how do I start a business in my state? And then whatever state you're in. And then it will list off all of the like financial and governmental licenses or whatever you need to have. And then after that, then do all those things. Open a bank account. And then after you open a bank account, then start posting random shit online. You're not going to know your niche. You're not going to know what you want. Just start posting anything online about the things that you want to talk about. It doesn't matter if you look stupid. It doesn't matter if you like feel like you look dumb. No amount of judgment should stop you from doing what you want to do because that's a fear of judgment, embarrassment and stuff like that. And that's not relevant to like your journey in life. You start learning and educating yourself. Hire a coach, hire a marketing coach, hire a business coach, hire what you need next in the process. If you don't know how to build a business, hire a business coach. If you have the foundation of business done, then hire a sales and marketing coach. Learn how to build offers, learn who your ideal client is. Who do you want to actually help? What are the important things? What do you feel connected to help with? Do you want to help men with specific issues? Do you want to help women with specific issues? Figure out who your target demographic is. And then, bam, run some ads, hit them up and be like, hey, what's your problem? Where do you want to go? Okay, now that you have both their pain point and their goal in life, then you can be like, here's how I can bridge the gap for you. Pitch a call, get on a call with them, sell them on the call because you know you can help. Be confident in the call, learn sales. And then after you have sales, you have clients. That's it. And the thing is, when you're starting out, you can even go to your direct network. You can start sending video messages to people. This is like a big Gary Vee thing where it's like, hey, I just started this new business. I'm doing life coaching. I'm willing to do a session for like $50 to just get my feet off the ground. I would love it if you supported me. This would mean a lot to me, even if you just talked with me and gave me your insight on like how I can be better at what I'm doing, right? Just to get your feet off the ground, send that video message to every person that you know. And so there's a million ways to advertise and get your name out there, but that's like the system. Build the business, build a healthy foundation, know what you want, know what your brand is, focus on high impact actions that will actually get you the return on investment in time and energy. And ultimately what that comes down to is getting leads, getting paying clients, and that's it. So it's marketing and sales at the end of the day when it comes to business.
If somebody was like, I just want to go to college and be a college kid, I don't want to have to like worry about money yet. Maybe I have good grades and I could get some scholarships. Maybe something to do with sales, marketing, general business. Like if they chose to go to college, what direction do you think would be beneficial? What would be useful?
I would say get a job in sales with a good company that will teach you good sales tactics and help you learn how to sell. Literally everything in life is sales, and also everything in life is marketing. So if you do want, go get a business degree in college in marketing. Marketing is going to be how you sell yourself, and then like the sales tactics that you have. It doesn't have to be scummy. I'm extremely authentic when I get on sales calls. I'm not like, you need to buy my services. If I genuinely feel like I can help them, then I'll be like, hey, like this is the best option for you. And then if they don't want to, then I'm like, okay, that's totally fine. I wish you the best. But you don't need to sell everyone on everything. But sales and marketing are the two skills that you have to have in every aspect of life. Because in dating, you're selling the girl, you're selling the guy on how amazing you are and like who you are, right? Your marketing, how you dress, your fashion sense, like the way that you carry yourself. That's how you market yourself on apps or whatever. Don't use apps, but everything in life is sales and marketing, regardless of if you're in business or not. So those are the essential skills that you definitely need to have regardless of what you go into.
Don't use apps. Where do you look for love?
Oh my God. In the communities that you build, man, in the places,
answer.
yeah, in the places where people are that do what you like, because you're naturally going to be connected with them, right? So like you're trying to build your podcast. I've done a podcast before and we both like gaming. Like we're naturally just going to be friends. It's easy, right? Because we have connection points already. So find things that you like doing and then you're going to run into people that like doing what you do.
Find your people.
Find your people.
For sure.
100%.
Ryan, I appreciate so much you taking the time to sit down with me and give me some coaching and arm everyone with some of the skills to make some tangible improvements in their lives. I really believe in the work that you're doing, and I think that there's no one path to bettering your life. There's no one path to getting out of a rut. There's no one thing you should be doing, but there are lots of different paths. And what matters is that you're taking steps. I think that you said that really wonderfully. Waiting around to do things is going to get you nowhere. So thank you for sharing some of your wisdom with us on how you help people get unstuck and find fulfillment and purpose and happiness in their lives. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man. It's been a pleasure too.
There we go. Filming complete. Do you hear that? It's the call of the tavern. If you enjoy this show and want to join a community that supports one another, you should click the link in the description to join the GG Tavern Discord. We're going to be hosting game nights, networking events, and community discussion boards there. It's also the best place to stay up to date with everything going on with GGUP. There's currently a special promotion going on called the Founders Event. The first 100 people who get 5 of their friends to subscribe to the podcast and DM me proof will gain lifetime access to a special role in the Discord server where you can enjoy some of the special perks that will otherwise only be for paid supporters of the channel. Also, the first 500 people to join the server can claim the OG title for eternal bragging rights that you were an early adopter of the show. Come on into the tavern and connect with the community today.